This is it, the second and final part of the World Finals for Lamborghini Super Trofeo. This is the combining of all the championships of the World Finals. This is the top grid. It's the Pro and the Pro-Am runners combined. 38 cars about to come out to play. My name's Bruce Jones here at Misano, and alongside me, a Lamborghini racer from just a couple of years ago, Stuart Middleton. The stage is set. 50 minutes of fury lie ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me in the booth with you, Bruce. Yeah, pleasure to be once again commentating on the World Finals. Better late than never. A little bit ill the past few days, so yeah, my colleague and partner in crime has been commentating for me. So no, pleasure to be here, and should be a mega race.
It certainly should. Let's go straight down to the grid to join Dakota, who's right at the sharp end. She's caught Brendan Leach.
The intervention, so especially 14 and 10 to be conscious to really unwind the wheel to avoid it coming. Luke has reminded us so that his Matteo's been instructed to, if for whatever reason the other side of the grid goes up, he'll let you get a shot there.
So I'm afraid it was rather quiet there. That was the voice of Brendan Leach, who's starting third on the grid, but it's Jonathan Cecotto who'll be starting from pole position for BC Racing. So I talked about the combination of the cars from the Asian Super Trofeo Series, the European and the North American. And Jonathan Cecotto's had such a mixed meeting, but every time he gets in the car, he's quick, and he's put his car right at the front. And this actually brings up the point. After the first race yesterday, the top 10 finishers all got points. But none of the ones that have scored well yesterday are near the sharp end of the grid. Let's go back down and see if this time we can catch up with Brendan. Okay, I'm afraid we have so many people milling down around on the grid. It's great to give the atmosphere, but I'm afraid something has happened. Maybe someone's standing on something important from us. Ah, now I can hear Dakota, so perhaps it'll be working. Shall we try third time lucky with Brendan Leach? No. That's absolutely fine. It's always a moment where you try, we can't get it. But we will... I can hear Dakota loud and clear, but let's have the fourth go, maybe. If it doesn't work.
We will try again. Yes, thank you very much. Down here on the front row of the grid with Brendan Leach. I've just heard an engine starting, so it's probably pretty quickly. Brendan, front row of the grid. Not a good day for you yesterday. Today's got to be a better day, right? You've got some really strong competitors starting alongside you. What have you learned? What's going to happen in turn one?
Oh, I think, to be honest, I think turn one might be pretty uneventful for the first couple of rows. You've got 4 Pro-Am cars with the pros in, so yeah, 4 very quick, very sensible guys, and I think there's going to be a bit of chaos further back, but I'm very happy to be starting on the front row and stay away from that, and yeah, just press on, have some fun in the stint. Fred was really quick the other day as well, and we drove off into the sunset together, so let's try to do that again and hand the cars over to the boys and see if they can bring it home for us.
There will be no sunset tonight. It looks pretty cloudy. Good luck. Thank you very much, Brendan.
Yeah, so that's Brendan Leach starting on the outside of the front row. And the unusual thing here is we've got 4 Pro-Am cars in the front 4 positions, but it's the Pro, not the Am, that's got the qualifying time. And this is really why the grid has been totally jumbled. I just started, I thought, wow, let's have a look. Air temperatures stayed resolutely at 12 degrees Celsius, 53 Fahrenheit, almost since dawn this morning. Track temperature has been hovering around 16, 17 degrees. That's cool for these runners, and that means getting heat in the tyres is going to be so vital, Stuart.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not particularly Italian, the weather, let's say, today. And yeah, for sure, for these cars, they live off, you know, being hot and everything up to temperature. So yeah, for sure, the guys will have to be a little bit cautious going in the first couple of corners, and yeah, they'll push on from there.
Well, thanks very much, Stuart. Let's just go back down because we called up with Jonathan Cecotto, who's right at the sharp end of the grid in 5th position.
Obviously, third row of the grid here with Jonathan Cecotto. Jonathan, yesterday was a wild race. Are we expecting the same today? But the level of competition looks pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was quite wild because I was all the way at the back. It was like a safari between the lines back there. Now, definitely less cars. Pedersen, that the pole position, the thing that happened with the pole position, we're now starting in P6. So we see what happens.
Let's see. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan Scott. A little bit of break up there. He's just explaining why his car that had been fastest and qualified on pole position lost 5 places on the grid. And I haven't got too much time to explain that. But looking down on the grid, car number 129, sitting there, sitting pretty towards the front. In fact, this is a little bit further back, but that is the car that leads on points. Elias De La Tour and Will Bamber. Where's it starting on the grid? Number on the left-hand side, 21st position. This is the point I'm making. The car that has the highest points tally is down to 21st. You only get points for 10. And they'll be the top 10 positions. Car that's second on point is starting 15th. The car third on points is starting 17th. This is a really unusual thing. It's like they'd all been put into a drum. Someone's turned the handle and pulled the balls out. But the best combination is the crew that is starting 9th on the grid. That's Wayne Taylor Racing's number 101 entry of Danny Vermaelen and Hampus Eriksson. They lost, they were in that battle half a lap to go last night, a 3-way battle for the lead, and they got shoveled a little bit wide, bit of damage, and ended up not getting many points as they wanted. Only 6 points for finishing in 5th place. But on average, looking at their grid positions, they might not be in pole position, but they could be pole position in terms of heading for overall victory to take the world title. If you've never come across the Super Trofeo title World Finals before, it's a combination of 2 races. We separate the 4 classes. We have Pro and Pro-Am in the top race, which is what we're about to witness, whereas Am and Lamborghini Cup, they run separately. So it's a very, very good way of doing things, but it's an aggregate. So we'll have to keep on top of everything as they add the points together.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very mixed bag, this race. Like you say, there's quite a few of the guys who are in the contention for the world title, and yeah, I mean, they're just all over the shop on the grid, so it could get interesting, this one. But yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah,
well, let's face it, Stuart, if you qualify badly or your co-drivers qualified you badly, you've got to do overtaking. Now, what we saw in the first race, some drivers can, others can get close. We had some very decisive overtaking manoeuvres, in particularly from Alex Denning in the SGM Theodore car there, some way down the order in 18th position on the grid. Charles Leon will be starting that. We'll look for them, and it's great if we can have all the 3 championships melded together. The best of the runners in terms of time was actually an Asian Series car. That was the one that got put back to 6th place overall with the 5-place penalty drop. But up and down the order, we have to remember we've got the Pro-Am runners in here as well, and the best of the Pro-Am runners are right at the top because their pros are qualified. However, it's a 50-minute race, just like a regular Super Trofeo race. There is the pit stop in the middle, the timing of where you do that. And now, I've got to say it, we've got to talk about those things called track limits. We've seen so many exceeded, and the corner they tend to get ping for is turn 6. You've gone through the first 1, 2, 3, that's a complex of corners, then 4 and 5 quite tight, and then it opens out, but you're getting onto the infield straight, and so many drivers, by now they should have got the message. Run wide there, and we are paying attention. Yeah. Gather a certain number, and you get a warning, and after that, you get a 5-second time penalty. And in something like the Super Trofeo, particularly in the World Finals, it's so super close. 5-second penalty could lose you 5 or 6 places, and it could take you completely out of the reckoning.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, for me, Misano, it's a bit of a tricky track in terms of trying to keep it on the black stuff, because I mean, you see all of this space on the exit of the corners, and it's very tempting to just go, yeah, you know what, they'll carry a 5 more kph here and just send it on the limit a little bit more. But yeah, before you know it, you put half a wheel over the line, and then you get in the track limit. So yeah, there's such a mix of trying to keep it on the track, but also trying to push and make use of your track limits as well. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of games going on with that, and towards the end of the race we'll definitely see some more track limits.
One thing we have seen though, going in not so much into turn 1, that's more 2x2. Of course, people try 3x3, it doesn't work. You'll have cars so effectively cutting out turn 2, and they will generally get punished unless they were avoiding someone else's accident in front of them. Further points on the circuit through the course of the 4 days of racing here. You can pass into turn 8, which is the infield hairpin, quite a broad hairpin. Yeah. We see people attempting it from turn 9 to try and get ahead into turn 10, but if you compromise yourself there, can't get the power down. You've got that run all the way down that fast back straight through the kinks of turn 11, 12, 13. That is the biggest place to lose out, to my eye.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's all just free lap time from turn 10. If you get that exit right, you get on the power nice and early, then, yeah, I mean, you pull all the way down that straight. So if you're trying to race a guy in front of you, then, yeah, you can quite easily get caught up with a battle behind as well. So, yeah, not easy, but interesting.
Certainly is. Just had a quick message from Dakota saying CMR, I think there's a problem. They think there's a problem for car number 13, which is 4th on the grid for Georgi Dimitrov. First 3 cars get away, he gets away. Well, hopefully that's something like hearing a noise that isn't there. So the front runner's getting away. What are they doing on this lap? Of course, formation lap. Some of the races this weekend, they've had 2 formation laps to help them get the heat in the tyres. track temperature. It's been, I think it's actually frozen on my screen, not in terms of temperature. It's been 16.8 degrees all day long. That's cold for the start. Right, let's run down the grid. These are all Pro-Am cars at the front. Fred Shandoff, the Flying Dane, will start on pole position for ASR. Brendan Leach alongside. And then Igor Oritsev, who was last year's World Finals champion, got it right at the end. He starts third. Fourth on the grid, Georgi Dimitrov. Row number 3, Patrick Fraboni, very fast young Italian, and Jonathan Cecotto running the Asian Series car. Then Chris van der Drift, another Pro-Am challenger, another veteran of Super Trofeo. And Benedetti Strignano, very good this year, running solo, quite a few are. Now the car that I think starts in the best position for an aggregate success is 101. And that is starting down in 9th position on the grid, because that was scoring a lot of points yesterday. Right, further down the order, Anthony Pretorius, very promising South African, and Luke Barkley over from the States. They fill row number 7. Adam Patera, first across the line last night, but a 5-second penalty moved him down the order a little bit, but still got points in the bag, but starting down in 15th. Then Joseph Knopp and the car that won the Asian Series, Charles Leung, will start. Alex Denning will take it through to the finish. Also in the Pro-Am class, we have Dimitri Angilbert and Jacob Riegel. He'll be running solo from 20th on the grid. Expect progress from him. Elias de la Tour comes here along with his teammate for TR3 Racing with the most points in the bag. They banked 15 last night, but starting 21st, it's going to be very hard even to get up to the solo point that you get for 10th position. However, 50 minutes racing may not sound long, but I can guarantee it's going to be packed full of incidents. And let's hope we don't have any visits to the safety car, and the overtaking is purely on the track. But I think that does, as Stuart has indicated, require our fingers to be crossed. 38 cars in all, last few cars on the grid. Conrad Geis over from the States, Jem Hepworth racing for the Rafa Racing team, and Graham Doyle, so they know each other from racing in the States. Transplanted to Europe, always we move around the world to go to the World Final. And then Hudson Auto by LKM with Lou and Diego Locanto with his own team, DL Racing, D Locanto. Do the maths on that one. Alessio Ruffini, Guido Lucchetti, who has had, I think, some mechanical problems. He's generally very quick indeed. He's been a race winner this year. And Mans Tallinn back by not setting any time. Back row of the grid for him. He was one of the cars that actually went off in qualifying, which really does make it a mountain that's incredibly steep to climb. So the stage is set. 50 minutes of racing coming up ahead. And it's always so difficult here at Misano. The man with his thumb on the button to start the lights can't see the cars until they come round the final corner. Then it's a very short distance from there until the start line. And he's got to try and fit 37, 38 cars into that mix. And quite often in a race like this, he presses go for green for go before the last car's around the final corner. So front row, the white and blue car, Fred Shandoff alongside Brendan Leach. Row number 2, the metallic blue car of Igor Oritsev from Artline, and alongside him Dimitrov, Georgi Dimitrov, last year's champion, has already made the move, I think, into second place, waiting for Igor Oritsev. He looks so he's got his nose up. Brendan Leach holds on the outside, so no place changes among the top 4, neat and tidy. But what's happening behind? Number 9 makes a move there, and that is Patrick Fraboni doing a nice job to go from 4th to 5th.
By the looks of it, yeah. A couple cars off in first corner, and many going off and using that runoff to be expected. Let's hope there's no safety car, but let's see if they get going again. It's
always a chain reaction. Quite often you're responding to something that happens some distance up ahead of you. Riding on board with Jonathan Cecotto, BC Racing car number 211. Remember, that was the car that was fastest in qualifying, but a penalty dropped them back. In behind, the driver's got to remember, it's not only their race, it's also, there are 2 classes, Pro and Pro-Am. At the moment, the Pro-Am runners, the bulk of them, the quickest ones are at the front. That's with their pros. So if you're a Pro driver lineup and you're behind them, you have to say in the second half of the race your teammate should begin to pick them off. But as you pointed out, Stuart, this isn't an easy circuit to pass on. Now, this looks like a formation lap. Drivers trying to get the heat into their tyres. Watching on, Will Bambers giving instruction down there. Oh, dearie me, car 36, over and out. Oregon team, yep. Enzo Garacci, Joseph Knopp, second in the European Series. And that has been a big old hit to do that amount of damage.
Yeah, it's had a big smash, that one. I mean, the whole rear corner of the car. Oh, we've got a safety car coming out there as well, but we'll have a look at the replay. See what went on.
It's sort of in the middle of the pack, slightly obscured from up. That is the bit that's done the big damage. You have to presume someone else comes in and gives him a big old clap.
Yeah, there we go.
There it was. I think that might have been Mans Tallinn's car. No, his is a bit further back, but when you're a sitting duck. And car number 232 also spun around. That's Charles Leung, the Asian champion. They had their problem last night. They rose up the order, got hit up the back on a restart, and car was damaged. This time around, I don't know if it's damaged, but I do know that it's stationary.
Yeah. Yeah, and that looks like a front corner as well, gone on that car, so that's not going to be continuing the race by the looks of it. But
no, that's
so easily done when there's so many cars.
You're unsighted, and that was Chang Woo Lee, and he was coming from some distance back, so safety car, no surprise, and the convoy must go through the pit lane. That means there's obviously debris out on the circuit they want them to avoid, and you want to get your teeth into something and in a final, but to be out so early within the first lap is absolutely gutting. And for Enzo Garacci and Joseph Knopp, they've had such a good meeting so far. They were third last night, so they were sitting on a 10-point tally. They'll still be placed in the World Finals, but they're not going to be adding any more today. And just to point it out, it's 15 points for victory, 12, 10, 8, 6 down to 5th place, 1 point for pole. So sitting with 10 in the bank already was quite healthy. They could have built on that, but unfortunately have not been provided the opportunity to do so. And as you can see, the cars are peeling through the pit lane. Very long pit exit here, but the first corner is where the damage was done. And great to see the marshals doing their job, putting some quick dry dust down, because clearly as a car was moving away from there, it dropped some of its vital fluids. Now, from pit in through the pits and pit out is one of the longer ones in motor racing. Pit in is very short, but pit out goes on forever, and it curls around and then rejoins after turn 3. Dakota's just pointing out that car 263, we saw it involved. That was the one that hit the spun car. It was the SQDA Grit Motorsport car, Chang Woo Lee. Car looking, this is a technical phrase here, very bad. It's the sort of language I understand. But not surprising, because when a car is stationary and you're not, you're carrying the impetus and the damage. It's also the angle in which you hit another car.
Yeah, I mean, they're built well, these Lamborghini Trofeo cars, but there's only so much it can take when it comes to a hit like that. I mean, yeah, just look at that. The whole front corner's gone, headlights, and yeah, a lot of carbon fibre is ruined there. So, yeah, not going to be a cheap weekend for them, unfortunately.
No, but, you know, it wasn't as though there was anything he could have done about that. Right, safety car in this lap. Again, all weekend I've been very, very impressed by the amount of the speed with which incidents are being cleared up. A well-briefed crew. So the safety car has been allowed to escape, or more to the point, that means Fred Shandorf has backed away from the tail. He's the driver at the lead of the train, ahead of Brendan Leach and Igor Oritsev. Best of the Pro Crews is Patrick Fraboni in 4th place. He gained that position early in the race. And actually, Georgi Dimitrov in the pits. We had a news before the start of the race. That car starting 4th had a problem. Didn't look as though it did at the start, but clearly the facts in the pits has removed one of the favourites in this race. So the restart commences, looks neat and tidy. Fred Shandorf in the lead, 2nd Brendan Leach, 3rd Igor Oritsev, then Fraboni right on his back. Yep. Is the 211 of Jonathan Tricotho.
Yep, all looks neat and tidy so far. Everybody's pushing on, and yeah, they're going to have to get the tyres back up the temp now. Obviously, with the safety car, there's only so much you can do. Really need to be pushing in at full pace to get the heat in these Pirelli tyres. Well, not Pirelli's, actually.
Hankook tyres.
Hankooks now.
You go with muscle memory there, but, you know, over such a short period behind a safety car, but dropping down to run really slowly through the pits at 50 kph. How many degrees do you reckon falls off a tyre temperature, bearing in mind the conditions are cool?
Yeah, I mean, easy, you're going to lose a good 10 to 15 degrees, I would say, and that makes all the difference. Really, the operating window for these is anything over 70 degrees, to be honest. So, yeah, it's not easy. You know, you can't load the tyre as well, and you can't just push as much minimum speed as you were before. So it's just trying to build that up gradually, lap by lap.
Right, we're riding on board here with Jonathan Tricotho in 5th place overall. Probably still feeling a bit irked that his pole position was taken away from him. But rules are rules, but he's always proving quick in these cars. Last year's World Finals at Jerez de la Frontera, he was picking drivers off for fun. Let's see if he can carry on in that style. But what I am seeing is that Fred Shandorf is already starting to make his break at the front of the field, coming up to turn 15, turn 16. Drivers go right out over the curbing. Seem a little better behaved at the final corner. They go wide, but not too wide, because if you do, well, you're in all sorts of trouble there. But it's a very short start-finish straight, and this is the view going down towards the first corner. The first 3 corners come at you very, very quickly indeed. Under the bridge, you should be turning in, now running left. What are you seeing at this point as you look at this, Stuart?
So, honestly, there's so many different lines you can take here in Misano, but your main focus is to try and get that exit. I mean, if you come in a bit tight at that corner, the outside just becomes a bit of an understeer festival, so you've really got to set the car up there, get it rotated early, and set it up for the next one. And then this complex here, it's super important to be patient and use all of the curbs.
And we're just going in the background. The shot is turn 6, just on the top right-hand side of your screen. That's where loads of people are getting pinged for exceeding track limits. And so far, actually, I don't think anybody has been pinged, but we've got a lot of messages saying cars exited the pits because, of course, all went in behind the safety car. But we'll keep an eye on those, because as cars and drivers transgress, the cars don't transgress, the drivers do, and they pick up a number of penalties. They've got to watch it, because then you get the warning, then you get the 5-second penalty. And as I said, that is night and day. Oh dear, a couple more spinners. Car number 110, that's Wayne Taylor Racing, Graham Doyle and Glenn McGee car that ain't quite set up the way it ought to be there. And
not
car
quite right.
Yeah, car 33 was also off. That was the Milos Pavlovich Alessio Ruffini car, with Alessio starting. But one feels when the damage is on the rear of a car, you're probably the innocent party. But let's find out if it was the case. In fact, he went to take an overtaking manoeuvre, and 33 came across on his nose. Now, how did the rear damage happen to the black Super Trofeo car at that point? Was it simply hitting? It was. It was just catching the tail. Graham Doyle, well, he was heading out that way, but as the number 33 went a-spinning, there was not a lot he could do to avoid it. But a little bit of damage there. Just looking out to see if we're getting any safety car, looking for any signal of that. Bear in mind, Fred Shandorf is trying to build up a buffer in the number 3. There he is, leading the race.
Pace is very strong as well of Shandorf. He's currently a good 4/10 on Leach per lap. So, yeah, he's really doing a good job here, using all of the available grip and, yeah, trying to push on nice and early for his teammate.
Well, what he needs to do is keep things neat and tidy, because last night I blew his trumpet, sang his praises when he got in. I said, here comes the gold standard. He went out and got 4 different driver penalties, just pressing on. But it's a really strong combination with Andrei Lewandowski, who's been racing Super Trofeo for many, many years. Now, it doesn't look as though he's pulling away anymore. Brendan Leach seems to have settled into maybe a 10th or 2. Igor Orensev in 3rd place, keeping things honest. Jonathan Chicotto has now moved ahead of Patrick Fraboni. Car 15 is synced in that line. That's Villorba Course's Benedetto Strignano. One of a handful of drivers at the front field who are driving solo. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but when it comes to their pit stops, if you're a solo driver, it's 3 seconds longer. Your minimum pit stop time, 108 seconds from pit in to pit out. It's 105 seconds for those running with a teammate. And you might say, why should they stay longer? Well, that's because they have an advantage when they go out. They know the state of the tyres, the state of the track, as opposed to other drivers. You particularly see it with AM and Lamborghini Cup drivers. They're a little more cautious, so they're going for at least half a lap to get the feel of the car. But if you've only just come in from the first stint, you're fine heading straight out. Talking about straight out, that's straight off the circuit and beyond. This is turn 13, 14, 15. Frankly, if you're not out over the painted stuff, you're not trying. They're not getting pinged for track limits at that point. It's still almost always at turn 6, and also the final corner, turn number 16. Right, this is Fred Shandorf. Where is everybody? He's thinking, well, they're behind you, Fred. 1.4 seconds clear, so we can't see in his mirrors. Oh dear, number 6 has gone for a spin. That's Adam Patera's car. This is a driver who won the European Championship, driver from Malaysia in his first event, but they were starting some distance down the grid, having qualified only 15th. It may well be that, well, was it spinning all on his own? At the moment, his car, I'm afraid it wasn't all his own, because number 99 making a move there. Anthony Pretorius up the inside, or half the way up the inside, but spinning Patera around. So, afraid you know, you can put no blame at Patera's door at that particular point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's quite punchy. I mean, they're thinking it's the last race of the season. You know what? Let's go for that move maybe I wouldn't usually go for. And I mean, it's one of those ones, if the driver in front's not quite seeing you in the mirror, it's easily done. And I mean, it's such a tight corner that you see it so many times happening. So yeah, unlucky and just an unfortunate one, that.
Yeah, I think it's also quite tempting. If you've made a really good exit from turn 3, you sort of half fancy your chances. Turn 4, it's about a 110-degree right-hander, so naturally a slow corner, and that always provides opportunities. But right now, Fred Shandorf not looking for any extra opportunities. He's just looking very, very comfortable. And he's going to hand over to, as I say, Andrei Lewandowski, the driver giving chase in the Asian Series car, is Song Jia-jun. And let's go down and join Dakota in the pits. He's furious out on the track. How's it in the pit lane?
As you can imagine, it's still freezing in the pit lane. It's like a wind tunnel of cold air. But anyway, Giacomo, we've seen that Patrick is obviously under a lot of pressure on track. He got passed by Jonathan. He's still within passing range as well of Benny, behind him about 0.4. We consider it at 0.3 that it'd be about, he's looking there, he's gonna pass. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, Patrick, I don't know what happened, but Strignano behind us is very fast, and now we will see what happened if he can pass or Patrick can prove something, and we will see.
I think there's about 10 minutes or so until the pit window opens. So is your orders to Patrick just like keep calm, stay in front of Benny if you can, and I'll do the rest when I get in the car?
Yes, 10 minutes and the pit lane is open. I don't know if we enter early or at the end of the pit window. Yeah, I'm calm, so we will see.
So the only advantage you have is the 3 front runners are actually in Pro-Am now, so they're the pro drivers. When the AMs get in the car, they're going to push back a little bit further. And obviously Benny behind you, he's going to have that 3-second penalty for being a solo driver as well. So all looks good for you. Good luck, Giacomo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Giacomo Pedrini, and he was talking about his teammate Patrick Fraboni. They're such a young pairing. Giacomo there, we didn't look older than 17 because he isn't. He's 17. He's one of 8 drivers who are taking part tomorrow morning in the sort of academy drivers, the young drivers shakeout here. So his season isn't over, but the point that we were getting across there is he might be on the top step in the pro honours for this second part of the race at least, but you know, it's amazing to be that young and racing cars as powerful as this and doing it well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been there and done that myself back in the day. I mean, yeah, I started in GT4 myself in 2017 when I was 17 years old. So yeah, I mean, it's the best way if you can get it in early and young, then it's the best way. You know, you get the experience, and obviously you got all the experienced guys around you pushing, and if you can be on the pace of those guys, then yeah, it's mega.
Yeah, I mean, the best way of improving in it. Well, let's just slip down very quickly with Danny Formal with Dakota.
Right, Danny Formal in car 101. Obviously, you're starting to get ready to get in the car. Ericsson is probably not where you want him to be right now. What's the plan?
We got nothing to lose anymore, so put our heads down. Hampus got past the 128 that was blocking pretty aggressively. He has good pace, so hopefully cut the deficit a little bit. Good pit stop. The guys have been working on those timers all weekend long to get across the line at 0.000 over the minimum pit stop time. So yeah, from there on, head down, full attack, nothing to lose. And at the end of it, if we can win, we can win. If we can't win, we can't win.
You look very calm. How do you keep so calm before getting in the car?
Because at the end of the day, a lot of the elements are out of my control. All I can do is give my best, the same as my team has. The car's fantastic. It has great pace. And again, if we could get this win for Wayne Taylor Racing in USA, we can. If we cannot, we come again next year and try again.
There you go. That's good spirit. That's Danny Formal in the 101 racing machine.
Thank you very much. And his racing record bears plenty of examination. 3 Super Trofeo North American titles in the past 4 years. And his off year, he was second in the championship, so he knows precisely what he's doing. Now, suddenly, things are getting very, very busy.
Yeah, that's looking pretty punchy. Some door banging. It's always good to see Robin's racing at the end of the day. And yeah, oh, and there's a car diving down the inside there, the hairpin. Oh, that's not good. Not paid off there, unfortunately. Rotated the car around.
Yeah, that was the battle for 10th place, and it's car number 99. That's Anthony Pretorius, who's already just been given a 10-second penalty. In fact, there it is on the screen coming up. That was the collision that he caused a while back. And car 102, I'm just being told, has entered the pit lane. That's the Refa Racing Team car of Lindsay Brewer and Jem Hepworth. Don't know what the damage is, but the pit window isn't open, so they wouldn't voluntarily be there. So some fierce bike fighting down the order. Up the front of the field, though, 1.8 second mark. Let's take a look. The pale blue car is second in that gaggle of cars. Did it jump? Was it pushed? In this position, you'd suggest a bit of pushing has been involved. Round he went. So Anthony, having been to blame for an earlier incident, was very much the innocent party, but he was the one who lost out there between turns 9 and 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, just the innocent party there. The red and white car, which was following behind, just centered on the brakes, and yeah, unfortunately, just got a bit too greedy on it, and yeah, a bit too much ABS, and centered in the back of the car. So
the car I want to look at here, it is car number 129, the middle of that gaggle of cars. This was the car that won last night, second on the track, but the penalty for Adam Patera's number 6 car gave them the maximum 15 points. But at the moment, 129 is not even in the top 10 in the pro class. Another tenth of a second gain it might be. But Elias de la Tour, who was so clean and so precise, and made an amazing overtaking manoeuvre and a fabulous battle for the lead last night with Hampus Eriksson. Hampus is sharing the car with Danny Formal, who we just heard from. He's having to be patient right now. You know, you want to go for every opportunity, but you don't want to be the one that damages the car. It may open up in front, but you know, when you start that far down the order, and he really was way down the order, you know, it's going to be difficult. He started outside the top 20, second half of this field.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, when you're in contention like that, you think, okay, even when you're that far down the grid, you've just got to keep the thing on the track first and foremost, and stay out of sort of you know, the tough battles, let's say. Just got to keep it clean and pick them off just as they come.
Yeah, and also because I said that the pro runners in particular were really jumbled up, you know, way down the order behind some of the pros in the Pro-Am lineups. But the car that's heading for maximum points at the moment in Pro is one that didn't score any points at all last night. Jonathan Cecotto's car. Lindsay Brewer's out, and the shake of you can sense not in a happy place there. So. Maybe give her a bit of privacy, but that's the emotion that rides with you. You come here hoping for a top result. They got promoted up to take part in the main race. And thank you, Dakota. Just saying it's a loss of power of some sort. So Lindsay Brewer, unfortunately, will have to come back in 2026 to wherever the World Finals are held. Still waiting for that to be announced. And try again. But for the first attempt, she'll have banked an awful lot of experience along with Jem Hepworth. Right, running down the order. It's still very busy in the midfield, but the pro driver rankings at the moment, well, look, by dint of leading this race, having scored nothing, it'd be an equal share of the points with last night's race winners at 15 points apiece. But as soon as Elias de la Tour, or his teammate who takes over the 129, which is Will Bamber, gains a place or two, then the seesaw will start to tip. It's very tight, so it's really weird for one to be right at the sharp end of the race in 4th place overall, but leading pro crew, and the other to be back down in the pack in 14th. It's really hard. No visual link. Your crew has got to keep it really clear to you in terms of messages. Yeah,
absolutely. Communication's key in this, and all we can see is showing them the door there onto the gravel. That's the way to do it. Elbows out, but yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crucial these teams time the pit stops well, because it can mean make or break. You know, if you're getting amongst sort of a gaggle of a few cars, then yeah, you lose crucial time in the stop. So yeah, just got to be very mindful of who's where on the circuit and who's popped in.
Well, Shotab Kazava is rubbing his hands together, not yet suited. That means his teammate Igor Oritsev, who he's applauding there, who's running 3rd in the metallic blue, number 12, he's going to stay out as long as he can. In fact, all of these Pro-Am crews, your pro is the driver who's starting today, you give them the maximum track time, because obviously they're going to be quicker than you are as the AM, and could be to your advantage. The only reason you'd sort of change that is if your crew is worked out there's some cars that are lagging, you will come out into traffic. Maybe they bring the pit forward a bit. Now, suddenly it's just changed. The place gain for Elias de la Tour. That means his crew, Will Bamber, yet to drive that car, gains a point and therefore goes on to 16. This is going to seesaw up and down, but I really actually quite fancy Patching Fabroni and Giacomo Pedrini. They're 3rd on points at the moment. They're running 2nd in the pro class, but they're only under a second off Jonathan Cecotto's time, and I sort of quite fancy that Giacomo Pedrini will be slightly quicker than Jonathan's teammate Gavin Huang. I might be wrong, but we'll find out.
Yeah, it's all to play for here. I mean, it's just going to be so tight on the points, and yeah, I mean, you can see they're bunched up with Cecotto now, so yeah, they're going to be close by, and they're sure to be pushing everything, so yeah, leaving nothing on the table.
Yeah, and just to reiterate there, Igor Oritsev, who's going to hand over to Shotab Kazava. First car just diving in. Well, maybe a few have come in ahead, but this is the first lap people are pitting. They're running 3rd in the Pro-Am class, but they won it last night, so they're sitting on a tally at the moment of 25 points out of a potential maximum of 32. A point for pole for each of the races, along with 15 for a victory, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Danny Formal being strapped in. This is the car that was in that 3-way lead battle last night on the final lap. Ended up with a bit of damage for Hampus Eriksson. Came home in 5th. Did you pick up what was being said there from Hampus?
I heard I believe in you.
That's what I thought I heard.
Something along the lines of send it, and yeah, have a good one. So, yeah,
but you know, when you're dealing with someone who's got so much experience as Danny Formal, you know, it's just encouragement, isn't it? That's all.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, you know, you both know what you're doing, and at the end of the day, all you can do is jump in the car and send it, you know. I mean, yeah, if you've got a little bit of information about the condition of the track, or there's something, you know, kind of out of the ordinary that you need to tell your teammate, then fine. But yeah, in this moment, you're kind of just strapping them in, saying, yeah, go on, mate, have some. There's some words of encouragement.
Whoa, 15-second penalty for track abuse. Car number 177, that was Al Moray and Keon Tandon. Well, whatever position they were in, that is really getting a scup of their hope. Just outside the top 10 in 11th place overall. Add 15 seconds to their time, that would take them out of pretty much down to about 20th. So disaster. However, the warnings, they build up. And if you keep on exceeding things, Adam Patera, by the way, a 5-second penalty for the number 6 car. So he was the one that was spun around, and, you know, bad to worse. We talked about, well, dear, this looks 128. Looks like it's being pushed back into the garage. Or is it Alliance Racing? Pushed out, but anyhow.
Yeah, some sort of problem going on there by the looks of it, because the last thing you want to be doing is pushing the car back into the garage at this point. So yeah, definitely something going on with that car.
Ernie Francis, Luke Barkley car. Looks like it might have been actually, well, driver out. Well, that is over and out. So really, really gutting. You want to obviously get to the end of the race to see where you can come, but if something has been untoward in a field like this, you're going to be way, way down. Number 70, latest car to pick up a penalty. That's Jacob Riegel, who's running solo for Life at Motorsport, running in 9th position, so 5 seconds. Let's do the maths in that one. Tell you what, we'll settle it all down after the pit stops. That would cost him actually only 1 position as it stands, because actually the field is starting to string out. But if we do end up getting a safety car, all those gaps have been closed down.
Yeah, then you're a bit knackered.
And the one that's been most hard-earned has been the gap between first and second, between Fred Schandorf and Brendan Leach. Remember, it hovered at about 1.5 seconds for a while. It's out to 3 seconds, and the last lap it's gone out to 3.7 seconds. At this point, though, they're starting to get in. The front runners starting to find the people who are coming out from the pit lane, and that can really compromise a lap for you. And it lost 8 seconds for the chasing Brendan Leach there.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. I mean, you can, you know, try and sort of box a car when there's sort of cars going out pit lane when you're at the other side of the track, but yeah, sometimes it's just unavoidable, and you've just got to keep pushing on and manage the traffic the best you can. But there's one thing, I mean, there's more track limit warnings coming up as well. Car 33 of Milos Pavlovic, unfortunately. Right,
the car that's leading the race, we're riding on board right now. This is Frederick Schandorf, 3.7 seconds clear, and presumably getting quite close. The pit, no, it's the 5.5 minutes until the pit window closes. But, you know, track conditions, they've been so incredibly stable. So many races in Super Trofeo racing, you might have track temperatures climbing even through a 50-minute race, but this one, well, it's fallen almost to a degree, but, you know, Fred Schandorf has just mastered this. He mastered the cold tyres at the start of the race, and today, in clean air, he's doing a great job.
I think they've got a mega setup in this car. I mean, when it comes to this and these conditions, you can just push every single lap. I mean, it's just one big sprint race, basically, so you just got to absolutely send it. You're not sort of caring about looking after the tyres at all. Just give it everything, and yeah, I mean, they must have a really nice setup in the car, because he's able to use it all and extract every bit of pace. So yeah, they're going really, really well here.
Right, under 5 minutes till the pit window closes, and at this point, number 3 still leading the race, 4 seconds clear now, so another couple of tenths put in the bag. Every single one of those is useful, but the front runners just coming up towards the tail of some of those who exited the pits. But I think Fred Schandorf will probably come in. 4.5 minutes remain. He can do this lap and one more, just. And then he'll come in. But we did see at some point in this 4-day meeting a couple of cars, a couple of drivers coming in just too late, and then that is the big clang as the pit window closes, and the penalty it had to follow. You know what? Both the cars, I think, that came in late then undercut their pit and got a time penalty for not staying for the minimum time. Talk about insult to injury. So Andrzej Lewandowski waiting to take over from race leader Frederick Schandorf. And Andrzej, Polish racer, has been with the championship for years. In fact, he picked up his first Lamborghini Super Trofeo championship in the AM Series back in 2017. And actually, Fred Schandorf picked up his title just 2 years later when he won the Middle East title. So a lot of races have been won by the pair of them across the various classes. And again, if you're new to Super Trofeo racing, we have Pro, we have Pro-Am, we have Am, and Lamborghini Cup, all according to your experience, your desires, and so on and so forth. But when you've got pro drivers, combinations, you expect them to win. At the moment, before the pit stops, we've got 3 Pro-Am crews, first, second and third. Fred Shandorf, car number 3, 289, Brendan Leach, and Igor Orytsev, number 12. And the job is going to be handed over to their AM teammates. And I think with all the experience we have from Shota Abgazava, who'll take over the number 12 car. They got maximum points in race 1. Can they do it in race 2 and take the title? Well, we'll find out relatively soon, in under half an hour. In fact, under 23 minutes. Mechanic Motorsport diving into the pit-in. No one else wanting to do it. So a lot of these drivers thinking I would do one further lap before coming in. Penalties still being issued. Al Moray, car 177, 5-second penalty, track limits abuse. This is the car Igor Orytsev would have climbed out of, and Shota Abgazava would have got on board. Artline team. Shota's been running in this series for, it seems, almost forever, but such a staunch supporter of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And last year, of course, his teammate, the driver who's hopped out at the death, it went down to who set the fastest lap in the second part of the finals. And Igor Orytsev took the world final title. A bit of confusion at the time, but he absolutely nailed it. One overtaking manoeuvre that didn't look as though it mattered, but it did, because that extra point, that was just enough. But today, gunning for those Pro-Am honours. Driver change is almost all completed. Dropping the pressures a little bit maybe on the tyres there, or again, you know, tyre pressure is such a critical element, isn't it? Particularly when you've got low temperatures.
Yeah, the guys will be aiming for sort of a higher initial target for the tyres, so bump the pressures right up for the start, so they've got grip straight away, but then that can quickly turn around to them being too high once they start getting a bit of heat. So yeah, it's just balancing it just right, so it can be quite an awkward one with these sort of temperatures.
And also with you drivers, when it gets in your head that you want different tyre pressures, you know, if they, I don't know if the teams ever say, yeah, we drop your tyre pressures, they haven't at all, but in your mind, you now, I know you wouldn't be open to those sort of tricks, Stuart. But.
Yeah, it's all mind games, you know, but no, for sure, like, as a driver, you can tell when a tyre's just over its limit, just that corner that you'd enter at the same speed, same brake and everything, you just find the rear's just trying to step out and just, it's not quite behaving itself, so yeah, it can make a huge difference even just at 1 PSI.
Right, this is a critical pit stop for Patrick Fabroni, handing over to Giacomo Pedrini. Remember, they came in from second place in the pro class, running in 5th place overall behind Jonathan Cecotto. Don't want to go rushing out of the pits too soon. Jonathan Cecotto, who they've been racing against, now has handed his 211 over to Gavin Wang, out of the race lead, into the pits. The pit window closes in 5 seconds, so they got that time beautifully. You know, they did the maths, worked out they probably had a dozen seconds to spare. They could do that last lap. Autosport Racing bring that car to a halt, and Andrei Lewandowski will hop on board. Brendan Leach has come in the blue and gold car as well, and that means all the front runners will have pitted and maybe a few in the back. No, everyone else should be in the pits now, because the pit window, it is fair, mate. It is closed. Andrei Lewandowski, he knows the cockpit of a Super Trofeo car so well. As I said, that first title for him, 2017. And of course, he then brought his son Adrian into race in the championship as well. So a real family business.
Yeah,
now,
veteran of the series.
The one I wanted to look on at the end of this lap, when the last of the cars have completed their pit stop, is see where number 101 is. Danny Formar, we heard an interview from him. He's up to 6th place overall. Still cursing that last night they didn't come in 1st, 2nd or 3rd. They were in 2nd position on that final lap, ended up 5th. But I think in the pro class he could be up very close to class lead. And I also expect those Pro-Am runners like Andrei Lewandowski to struggle a little bit against the very best pros. However, within that, it's the fact this is a very difficult circuit on which to make a clean overtaking manoeuvre. So we'll see who can manage the best. Does seem people have behaved pretty well in the pits at the moment. This is the long, slow exit for Andrei Lewandowski. Remember, Fred Shandorf did the first part of the race. brought it in with a lead, it would have been more, but for the safety car, but all is under control right now. But on and on goes the pit exit. It keeps turning to the right. Eventually it sort of straightens out, and then the drivers get sort of spat out onto the circuit just on the exit of turn 3, just where drivers are coming around at some pace. As soon as he went over the white line, bang, up to full speed, because if they weren't at full speed and were coming out slow, that's where it can be really dangerous when cars are coming. But at this point in the race, all the race crews will be on the radio saying cars still coming out of the pit, stay fairly tight on the line out of turn 3. Don't be... I don't know if there's a very entertaining message, or is it just I love driving a Super Trofeo car as much as I get up to full speed. Andre Lewandowski, that was really quite a grin from him. Here we go, here we go.
Yeah, he's thinking, all right, let's have it. Yeah. Enjoying himself.
Bring it on. Will it lead to Pro-Am victory? They're sitting 5th on points with just 6 in their pot, but can he build on that? So within half a lap, suddenly our screens will give us clear representation. Is on because you sometimes get a slightly artificial one according to where the start-finish line is. Give it another lap, and is Andre Lewandowski the outright leader? Bear in mind, of course, his teammate Fred Schandorf came in from the lead, so the answer is yes, he is the outright leader in the race. Yep. He'll be looking at his mirrors and going, yeah, it's about a 5-second advantage, so at many points on this circuit, I won't be able to see the person who's giving chase. I'll have to get the team in my ears. There's Brendan Leach, started second, came in from second, and he's now handed to Song Jia-jun. And they'll be looking to see if they can stay, if these two Pro-Am crews can stay on top. Under 17 minutes out of 50 remain in this race. And of course, you always think it's going to be a bit of a run through to the finish, but because the pro drivers in a Pro-Am pair pit as late as possible, it really is right at the end of the pit window, and it does leave not so much time for their AM colleagues to defend a position when the pro-pro combinations should be coming forward. And at the moment, Gavin, car number 211, that Jonathan Chicotto started from 6th on the grid, Gavin Huang's taken that over, and he's the leading runner in the pro-pro combination, but he's only 2 places and only 3 seconds ahead of Danny Formal. And I expect the Costa Rican in car 101 from Wayne Taylor Racing to come through, and he's still enjoying it. Facial grimacing. Actually, a lot of drivers might be like this, but you only have a handful that have a sort of half chin element, so their mouth is normally covered. Right, there's 211, Gavin Huang being pushed, and in fact getting past Song Jia-jun, so up into second, the black car with the red flashes on it.
Yeah, didn't take long for him to get past the first Pro-Am pairing in the top 3 there, so yeah, I have no doubt that he's going to be on the tail of Lewandowski before long as well. The
black car with the blue fashes in the background, that's Danny Formal, 3 times the North American Super Trofeo champion, and he is going to be closing in. He's just got ahead of Shota Akbazava, who is now 3rd in the Pro-Am class, but if he picks up the points for 3rd, that will probably be enough for the Pro-Am world title. However, he's going to be monstered by a lot of cars trying to come through. And the car immediately behind him is Giacomo Pedrini, who's taken over from Patrick Fraboni. But let's go down here from Brendan Leach, who was right at the sharp end, but his co-driver, Song Jia-jun, is getting monstered at the moment with Dakota.
Brendan, obviously it's horrible to be standing here knowing that it's not in your hands anymore. We've just seen Danny Formal pass Shota, so it looks like he's going to be catching up quickly to Song. Are you nervous?
No, look, it was really good out there. The car's lovely. Probably a little bit of understeer that I didn't anticipate for the cold conditions, so couldn't quite keep up with Brett. JJ's only task today is to go have fun and push as hard as he possibly can, so where we end up is where we end up. You know, he's done a great job this weekend. We've found a lot of improvement, so the car's been great all weekend, and obviously we had the wins in European, so for JJ it's all about getting better every time we get in the car, and he's doing that, so fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx us. It seems like we're in a good spot at the moment, but there's still a long way to go.
As a driver, I've understood that you're definitely going to pick understeer any day over oversteer. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you get to that point when you're on the limit like that, and you have someone like Fred in front of you, you know, that car was dialed in for him, and we were just missing a tiny bit, and that makes such a difference over 30 minutes in the car. Probably a good thing for JJ to have some stability, so probably not the worst thing at the end of the day.
I know he's got a good coach and a good supporter here in the pit lane. That's Brendan Leach, guys, in 286 or 9.
Yeah, 6 or 9, doesn't matter, really, does it? Thank you very much, Dakota. And in fact, while Brendan was telling us all, this trio of cars is We talked about the pro driver lineups coming through past the Pro-Ams, and Shotab Kazava has been picked off, but JJ or Song Jia-jun has actually fallen 5 positions. He's now down to 8th because Colin Queen went past, Giacomo Pedrini went past, Benedetto Strignano. It was inevitable it was going to happen, but he kept it neat, did not get in their way. So again, you all have a role to play when you've got a mixed grid of cars, but who is going to keep on rising? Colin Queen racing solo. He's been very impressive, I must say. He's one of the young drivers who's going to be out here tomorrow trying to show his real talents to Lamborghini. But he was one of the solo drivers, so he had 3 extra seconds at the pit stop. So the fact he's in 6th overall, he's just behind Giacomo Pedrini. That means he's gone really well. Pedrini was ahead, or his car was ahead before the pit stop. So even with the 3-second thing, he's closing in. Right, race leader, Andrei Lewandowski, grimacing, but leading by a large margin. Best part of 12 seconds clear, 12 minutes on the clock. Can we have a Pro-Am crew win this race outright? If they do so, well, that would be phenomenal. Where is everyone else? Just coming out of turn 10, and it's Gavin Huang, and right in behind Danny Formal. Car with the red flash, that's Huang. The car right behind from Wayne Taylor Racing with the blue flashes, the arrow formation on its nose. That's Danny Formal. He's hunting him down. They've got nearly 3 seconds clear of Benedetto Strignano, another driver who is driving solo. So another driver who's had to swallow up the 3-second extra in the pit stop. Track continues to lose temperatures, under 16 degrees Celsius now. And at this point in the race, after the pit stop, everyone should have got their tyres up to temperature, but it's still a very low temperature they've got here on a very, very coolish track. Nearly into the last 10 minutes of the 2025 Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series. The season sorted the national championship, the regional championships from Asia, North America and Europe on Thursday and Friday. This is second of 2 days at the world final, and the racing is not disappointing at the moment. Gavin Huang doing exactly what he needs to do, cover the inside line.
Yeah, that's it. He's sort of thinking at this point, you know, does he attack or does he defend? I mean, he's got Formal behind, who's obviously very fast, and he's got a really good pace in the car, so yeah, it's looking like a battle's inevitable, but at the same time he's trying to push to catch the leader, Lewandowski, in the Pro-Am car, so not helping each other out here, to be honest. But here we go, setting up a move around the outside. Formal, going to be a tricky one into this brake and in the hairpin, but let's see. Lay on the brakes, set it up for a switchback, hopefully, up the inside here. Yep, he gets that done, but just not quite early enough on the power, but we'll see down this straight.
We're already carrying a little bit more momentum, so up into second place. That will probably change the points around. And just moments before that happened, the car that took the combination that took maximum points last night gained another position. That's Will Bamber. He's now setting off after Al Morai, but he's only down in, I'll do the maths here, 9th position in class. That's only 2 points to add to last night's 15. Hopefully we'll have a graphic on the screen shortly telling us who, as these places start to change, is heading to the very sharpest of the sharp bits. But this is always going to be slightly confusing, simply because so many of the front runners, their cars qualified down below 15th place, so they had to weather the storm. And always, if you're mid-grid, things can come at you from any angle at the start of the race. Someone 5 or 6 cars ahead could have a moment, and you're the one that gets the consequences. Other people avoid it, you didn't see it. We saw that right at the start of the race, and you go out. I'm not wishing an accident on anyone, but now look at the points. Car 101, there we are, up into second. That gives them a 5-point advantage over the car that's in 9th in class, the one I was just talking about. Will Bamber and Elias de la Tour. Nobody else close enough really to challenge, even though Johnny Chicotto's car, Gavin Huang, is running in 3rd. Didn't score enough points yesterday. So really, for car 101, Danny Formal at the wheel and Hampus Eriksson probably not having a cup of coffee in the back of the pit carriage. It looks as though it's heading their way. And the good news for Danny, he's got clear of Gavin Huang by about a second. He's way off the tail of Andrei Lewandowski. He can chase him. Doesn't really even need to do that because they're running in different classes.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if he just sits tight, you know, keeps the car on the track, you know, don't pick any track limits up, then yeah, I mean, it looks like they've got this in the bag. So yeah, I mean, no doubt for sure he's a racing driver. He wants to push and catch a leader, but yeah, at that moment the team's sort of telling you, look, we're in a good position here, just keep it on the track.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Frederick Shanoff did a brilliant job at the start of the race, car number 3, and let's go down and catch him in the pit lane. His car is still leading with Andrei Lewandowski. Sorry, the coach, off you go.
Frederick, an absolutely massive massive, mega stint. You did a great stint on your first, but you really showed your knowledge here at Super Trofeo. Adrian looks like he's just having Andre looks like he's having a great time in the car. He's laughing away. I mean, what do you make of that?
Oh, we're having a great race so far. I always enjoy to come back here in this championship. It's such a fun car, and it's just so privileged to still be racing here. And hopefully I'm driving for my third world title, so hopefully Andre can bring it home. And I still think there's a few guys that need to drop a few positions for us to make it. But it's just really good fun to be here, and Andre and the whole team have done a fantastic job, and I think he's doing one of his best in his entire life right now. So I'm just crossing my finger for he will keep it for the rest of the race.
It also helps to have a good teammate who puts you in a very good place in the race.
Yeah, I mean it's just so fun to race here, and actually right now the guys have been really good on the track. I think yesterday was a little bit messy with a lot of contact and stuff like that, but so far, except for the race start, everyone has seemed to be pretty clean, so I will just enjoy the rest of the race now.
Let's get back to the race. That's Fredrik Schamgolf, race leaders.
Thank you very much. Andre Lewandowski still smiling, laughing. I'm sure someone's in his ear, or maybe that's the sheer pleasure he gets from driving these Super Trofeo cars. But the gap between him and the chasing Danny Vermael was 11 seconds, now 8.5. Wait for Danny to cross the line. Down to turn one goes Andre Lewandowski. What's on the clock? 7 minutes remain. Waiting for Danny Vermael. Still hasn't come across the line. 2 seconds gained on that lap, but the maths are probably going to count against him. He might be able to get towards the tail of Andre, but Andre, I think, will still have that smile on his face, and it'll turn to just outright enthusiasm and passion, an eruption after the end of the race if he can win. He wants to get the maximum points for Pro-Am. He's heading for those, but can he do it as an outright winner? I think he possibly can.
Yeah, I think it's going to go down to the wire here. I mean, we've got about 6 minutes remaining on the clock, so yeah, it's looking tight. I mean, the lap time should be good enough.
But it won't be enough at the moment to take the Pro-Am World title, because second place in class being hunted down, but with a 5-second margin over the chasing Todd Kingsford, is Shota Abkazava for the Artline team, his team. He might have, the car was running third in the first part of the race. It's fallen down to 12th. We did expect the Pro-Am cars to fall back, apart from the one that's still leading the race, but what was important as you have the pros coming through is not to pick up damage, not to be tipped in a spin. Of course, it's always bad form for anyone to hit anyone else, particularly if they're in a different championship category from you. But Shota's a wise being. He's been there for many years, and he knows where to put the car. Always looking at the screens, possibly under investigation car number 99, Sylvan Ritter's car, Silas Ritter's car for unsafe release. Nothing happened as yet. Car 211, 5-second penalty for track limits abuse. Gavin Huang has put one too many on the board. He's running fourth at the moment, third in the pro class, but I'm afraid second car we're looking at there, it's the black one with the red nose and bonnet. That's a 5-second penalty for them. So the cars behind have gained a place apiece. That's Giacomo Pedrini, Colin Queen, and Nick Persing, and possibly even Jacob Regal as well. So could be 4 places lost. However, you've got to push towards the edge. Too many times over the edge, and I'm afraid you do get punished. And that, in fact, his violations have been coming by and large at turn 16, the final corner. A lot of the others, though, majority of the others have been at turn 6, the left-hander, the open left-hander onto the back straight. Right.
Yeah, there's not so much gain, to be honest, on the last corner, so yeah, a bit of an odd one to pick it up there. Maybe he's just had a little moment of oversteer mid-exit, so yeah, I think that's more than likely not something that was planned.
No, absolutely not. But, you know, he was under a degree of pressure. Benedetto Strignano had gone past him. He's got Giacomo Pedrini right on his tail. Now, car number 129 came here with the biggest number of points onto the grid today, but started down in 21st position. Will Bamber's got it up to 10th, building on the work of Elias de la Tour. But at the moment, well, he's got Amaury Bonduel in front of him, and Amaury, who's had world titles to his name before, he's not someone who's going to be easily disturbed. Their biggest hope is to catch the car immediately in front of Amaury, but it's the second or so up the track, which is Al Moret. Right. Oh my word, this could be the lap. Andrei Lewandowski only 1.8 seconds clear of Danny Formal. Maybe the outright victory will be taken away from him. The last 2 laps have been almost 2 seconds a lap gained by the chasing Formal, which is more impressive even than I thought he would manage. But as I said, 3 North American titles and a second place in the last 4 years for Danny Formal, for Wayne Taylor Racing. And they will be at the front. This fantastic battle for 4th place, but Gavin Huang hanging on, tucked in behind Giacomo Pedrini, the white and red calf Mansa Motorsports car number 104, Colin Queen running solo.
Oh, here we are. Looks like he's setting up the move. He likes this corner. Did it before around the outside. Lovely. Nice and easy. Job done. And away he goes off into the sunset by the looks of it.
Yeah, well, it was coming, and had a little look, you can imagine, into turn 8, but he knew that he had an advantage into turn 9, and then if you can get your head in front, your nose in front before turn 10, before the long back straight, the job is done. Wayne Taylor Racing, been there, seen it, done it, across the board, across the years, and it looks another win is going into their pot. Someone told us earlier this weekend that one of the wins here was their 100th win, so they've kept on moving. Will it be win 101 for car 101? Well, that could be the case. 101 in front, so now we have equilibrium restored. You expected the pro lineups to get to the front. Danny Formal has done just that. Benedetto Strignano is 7 seconds back in second in class. Gavin Huang, who's really impressing in his battle to hold off that train behind him of Giacomo Pedrini and Colin Queen. He's holding on to 4th place, but the last few minutes are going to be very tough for him, but he's really shown he's staunch in keeping his car as wide as it needs to be. However, did we not have we've got the 5-second penalty to be added to that, so actually that is slightly futile. 5 seconds added to Gavin Huang, and I think that might let 3, if not 4 people behind him on the track at the moment who will cross the line behind him, but a 5-second penalty will be added to the overall time, and that will cost. So what can Gavin do? Just carry on doing what he's doing. There's no point in backing off and letting them through. The penalty will come. Right, in Pro-Am, well, how's that for a margin? 26 seconds over the closest rival behind Andrei Lewandowski. It's still Shota Abkazava, and if Shota stays where he is, car number 12, keeps Todd Kingsford behind him, then he and his teammate Igor Orytsev will be world final champions in the Pro-Am class. And if he keeps on going where he is right now, this man leading the race, 101, Danny Formal, will add a world final title to his bag and add one to Hampus Eriksson. Ironically, the driver he pipped last year at Jerez de la Frontera by just the count back. Car number 9, 5-second penalty. Oh dear, Giacomo Pedrini, he's going to fall back. The driver in front's going to fall back by 5 seconds apiece. That means Colin Queen will be coming up to 3rd place when we get to the end of the race, as long as he doesn't exceed the track limits too many more times. Oh dear, we heard from Brendan Leach a short while ago, the 5-second penalties, you always get them coming thick and fast, not because they're doing more at the end of the race, it's just cumulative through the course. And JJ Songjia Jun, who's Brendan Leach's teammate, remember Brendan ran 2nd in the early stage of the race, he's tumbled down the order. He's also got a 5-second penalty for track limit abuse. Oh yes, there we go. Right, not much time left on the clock. You can see only 20 seconds remain. So this is the final lap, the last race of the second part of the World Finals for 2025. And Danny Formal, it is almost in his hand. He's got nobody behind, well, he's got lots of people behind him, but nobody close enough to count. 3.5 seconds back to Andrei Lewandowski, who's seemingly done enough to hold on to 2nd place overall. Here comes the Pro-Am class leader, 2nd overall. What a great result, built on the foundations of everything that Fred Schandorf did in the early stage of the race, leading away from pole position. And then the gap is nearly 5 seconds back to Benedetto Strignano, who's been really impressive through the course of the season. He's been driving solo, but right now, Danny Formal down towards the end of the lap. He can back it off a little bit, but he's not the sort of driver who really needs to. He's got the knowledge of these cars, he's got the pace, he's got the experience. So slowing down for 14, speeding up through 15. What's left? One more corner, the end of the season for 2025 World Finals. Danny Formal, while Hampus Eriksson would have been frustrated last night with contact halfway round the final lap in that battle for the lead, dropped back to 5th, but add the points for victory today, and that should be enough for the World Final title for the pair of them. Yeah, they like that. Wayne Taylor Racing, they like that a lot. Right, 2nd place in the Pro-Am class. is worth celebrating. 13th place overall, not so much. However, second in class will put the points in the pot to add to the 15 points from victory last night for this team, the Artline team, with Igor Orodchev doing the first part of the race, Shotab Kazava doing the second part of the race, and that is enough for their combined tallies to come second in Pro-Am, and that puts the title in their pot. Hell yeah, indeed. Job well done. And as much as Will Bamber managed to push, he couldn't propel the 129 entry that he shares with Elias de la Tour any further up the order than 9th place overall. Good for points for 8th. And that means this man here, Danny Vermael, champion with Hampus Eriksson. Hampson's right in the middle, being scrummed.
Yeah, mega job by the 101 team, just so well played. I mean, they kept out of the trouble, kept out of the collisions, and yeah, at the end of the day, they were really fast as well. So yeah, just ticked all the boxes and ended up with a title in their hands. So yeah, hats off to the WTR boys, and yeah, good to see them get the result.
It is, and you know, you can see even when he's been shaken around, the pressure on Hampus after losing the title last year, you know, it was in his hands, and they were almost getting the etching out to put his name on the trophy. But Danny Vermael has delivered this time and helped him out. And this is the moment, even though he didn't have anyone immediately behind him, still that tension is there, still something could be untoward and go wrong. And likewise, Shotab Kazava, sporting his spectacular moustache. You can't see it at the moment, but you will when he gets out of the car. He will, you know, he just loves his Super Trofeo racing, and he really built on the work of Igor Orodchev. They form a really, really strong driver combination, and cruising in. So they are the, I'll tell you what, I'm just double checking any more time penalties. Another one for Gavin Huang. So car 211 has suddenly tumbled all the way down to 10th overall, as some of those penalties have been applied. But no doubt in the identity of our winner, not just in this race, but with 5th place last night. 101, Danny Vermael, Wayne Taylor Racing, and Hampus Eriksson. They are the World Finals champions. And in Pro-Am, it's Shotab Kazava, actually with time penalty applied, moved up to 11th place overall, but second in Pro, and that was enough. Hampus Eriksson, delighted. Nick Persing joining him under the stars and stripes. You know, when you're waiting for your teammate to come in, they decide to do the world's slowest in-lap. You know, you're waiting, you begin to wonder if anything untoward has happened, but Danny Vermael will just be lapping up and also sort of decompressing in so many ways when you come in, because I think, you know, from your racing career, Stuart, you're far more tense in the car than you think you are.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're driving, you're just full focus ahead and a job in hand. But yeah, as soon as you stop and jump out of that car, it's just a massive sort of relief. And I mean, yeah, you don't really realise how much you're kind of tensing up and pushing. So yeah, I'm sure for Danny, it's going to be a nice feeling jumping out of this car now.
Yeah, and I also think that moment when the adrenaline starts to sap away when you're coming in slowly, that's where your emotional overload comes out. You see many a driver sort of, you know, tears in their eyes, and well, the crews from Wayne Taylor Racing, well, it's American, it's extravagant, and Danny Vermael will be dragged as if being dragged into the Coliseum.
That's a way to do it.
Out of the car. That's the only time he's abused the car in his stint in the race, on the roof. And he gets the stars and stripes. Hampus Eriksson's got his own Swedish flag in hand. He too will go up for the photos. And the release for Wayne Taylor Racing. Pro winners, World Finals, Misano 2025. Over and out. Good job, guys. So just to run down the order at the end of the race. Victory and the title, the World Finals title for Danny Vermael and Hampus Eriksson. Second place overall, Pro-Am pairing of Fred Schandorf and Andre Lewandowski. But third place, credit to Benedetto Strignano, the young Italian. Third overall, but let's dive straight into the heart of the action, the emotion. Dakota with our winning pair.
I spoke way too soon, guys. Congratulations. Hampus, look, they're taking those millions and millions of photos. Hampus, you must be so happy. Finally, a world champion.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what to say. I can't thank the team enough. Danny, Wayne Taylor Racing, everyone. Oh, it's been a season. And after yesterday's race as well, got taken out in the lead. Oh my God, what a run, Danny. Oh my God, you did so well. And thanks so much to the team. You mean everything. And this is everything.
Danny, obviously that move for the front, it was smooth sailing for you all the way through, a total domination in America, and now a world champion. Let me give you a minute to take your helmet off, even just 10 seconds. Here you go. What's your comments?
I can't thank this team enough. The car was just an autopilot. Absolute rocket ship, fastest lap for me in the last lap. The car was just on rails. Hampus again gave me a car, complete rear tires. You know, I got a couple track limits early on, trying to push as hard as I could, so I was very limited of what I could do on track limits. So I had to be really precise with the passing, and our car was so good out of turn 10, and I was able to do all the passes there. Just take my time. We had so much pace. Thank you, Wayne Taylor Racing. This is for you guys.
This is for you guys. Come on.
First world championship ever for Costa Rica. Also, our first world championship from America since 2017 in the pro class. And it was Wayne Taylor back then. It's Wayne Taylor back now. Let's go! Come on!
So he's quick and the historian of the sport. And yeah, so it's great. We heard 21 nationalities in the Lamborghini Cup and Am race, but this truly cosmopolitan, a very American team, a pure all-American team, but with a Costa Rican star who's just done such a good job for them, and a Swede alongside who's just getting faster and faster in the form of Hampus Eriksson.
Yeah, I mean, like Danny was saying as well, I mean, team did a mega job preparing the car. So he gave him the tools to get the job done, and yeah, just looking at the lap times and how fast he was, I mean, yeah, it was just insane, the pace of the car, and also in the top speeds as well. Seemed to, yeah, have a really strong car on the straight line, which is very important around here on the back straight. So yeah, super job, and yeah, I'm sure they'll be celebrating tonight.
I certainly think that seems to be the order of the day for them, and it's a relatively early end to the day. It's only just coming up to just gone past 25 past 3 in the afternoon. It is autumn though, so the light will be falling really rather quickly in just over an hour. But right now, for Lamborghini Palm Beach, for Wayne Taylor Racing, Danny Vermael, Hampus Eriksson, it is job done. They had to go hunting. It was a really quality field of cars here today. As I said, 37 cars coming out to play on a track that provides incidents, so you have to also weather any safety car periods that come out, but they were very quick at clearing things up. So full marks to the crew here at World Circuit Misano. To give it its full name, World Circuit Misano, Marco Simoncelli. But let's go down, because Shota Abkazava and Igor Oritsev, victory again for them, not in the race, but in the Pro-Am World Finals. They are the champions.
Victory rings true. Igor, victory in the Pro-Am World Finals. Now, this feels a little bit deja vu-y, but does it feel better this time around?
It feels different. It's great to share it with not just myself. It's fantastic. So I'm really happy.
Shota, you must be very happy. As you said, you won almost all the categories.
Yeah, now it's a completely happy day, because it's Pro-Am categories. We before already have Pro categories for final, LC categories for final, AM, and now Pro. Full trophy, full house.
Amazing. Anything you want to say to your families, like friends, in your own language?
Oh, yes. Алга, Казахстан. Поздравляю. Это огромная победа. Yeah.
What about you, Igor?
Всем спасибо.
The same. Thank you very much. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. So very much a veteran of the series, but he gets no slower. Shota Abkazava and obviously Igor Oritsev, very quick indeed. He ran third early on, but the important thing when you're in Pro-Am is not to get involved with all the pros as they come through. You expect that to happen. But let's take a look at the classification. The second of the two parts of the World Finals, and it was tight all the way from start to finish. And here we have the final finishing positions coming our way, and here's confirmation. Danny Vermael and Hampus Eriksson, victory for them, eventually by 6 and a bit seconds from the top Pro-Am crew of Andrei Lewandowski and the driver who started from pole position and built up the lead, Fred Shandorf. Third place, all on his own, Benedetto Strignano. Great job from the young Italian. Then Colin Queen, rising American star, comes through in fourth. Nick Persing quietly got his way up to 5th overall. Then Amaury Bonduelle, Andrea Fontana, Patrick Fraboni and Giacomo Pedrini. We had a few people falling down the top 10 with time penalties, also including the number 211 crew of Jonathan Chicotto and Gavin Huang. And for a few of the very likely front runners, they qualified badly and they found themselves caught up in the action and getting a little bit damaged and not completing the race. It's always the thing, it's so tight and you're dealing in tenths of a second and it can put you 3-4 rows back on the grid. Just happened to be where the action is happening, and that is why for those that finished well in this race, their cars also tended to qualify very well. They got kept clear of the trouble. But really today belonged to Danny Vermaelen and the driver who kicked off, Hampus Eriksson. So that was a great result. They've ended up with the World Finals title, and a few big names and young rising stars not getting to the finish. Ethan Brown there among those that didn't get the result they were looking for, but they're young. They've got the test tomorrow here at Misano, and a lot to look forward. A lot of dip their toe in the pond. They'll come back older and faster next year. And for others, a lot of the older drivers, of course, are coming in still quite late in their life to their racing career. They'll be gaining form as they gain experience, and that's why the Super Trofeo is such a success in the 3 regions around the world, but always the attraction of the World Final. Very, very special indeed. So the drivers will be herded up towards the podium, and we will get the presentation shortly, but just a last chance to look at these fantastic super slow-mo shots of these cars. They look brilliant standing still, but some of the race liveries make them look even better. This is the car, one that didn't get to the finish, unfortunately, for Lindsay Brewer and Jem Hepworth. VSR, this was another car that really has gone so well, but again, it wasn't their luck today with penalties. And 211 could have been on pole, had to start from 6th place on the grid, but a couple of time penalties really blotted their copybook. But the speed was there, but it's about not making mistakes. It's about joining all the dots together. Andrei Lewandowski really did a fantastic job in the number 3, took it over from Fred Schandorf in the lead of the race, hung on for a while, but the inevitable was happening, and that was car 101 coming forward. Talk of car 101, Danny Vermaelen on the left and Hampus Eriksson on the right. And very, very happy with life indeed. Slight shake of the head there from Danny Vermaelen. Did we really just do that? Not only did they do it, they did it with something in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
So Chris van der Drift on the right, Todd Kingsford, he holds up the right number of fingers, 3rd place in the Pro-Am battle today. And Colin Queen, he did a great job, 4th on the track, 3rd in the Pro class, so we should be seeing him in the podium ceremony, and he's another name to watch for in the years ahead. Shota Akvazara draped in the flag of Kazakhstan. He knows his way around a Super Trofeo podium, and he also knows his way around a World Final podium, but he's got to wait for the signal, the cue, to come out onto the podium. And there are the trophies, very special ones to the World Finals, shaped differently from the regular Super Trofeo, and a lot of these drivers have quite a few of those, but the World Finals ones, they're like hen's teeth, they're rare.
Yeah, nice paperweights, that's for sure. And yeah, a bit different from the usual sort of silverware that you tend to see, so no, it's a nice thing to take home for sure.
It is, and it says that important word, world.
Exactly.
You know?
No,
Not many people get to have a world anything, do they? So.
Absolutely. No, it's super, really, really nice.
While waiting for the podium ceremony, there's a lot of noise out on the circuit, because what's that going out? Sounds like the Ascenza.
Yeah, that's a V12, I would say. Making a nice racket, but not making any complaints.
Right, Colin Queen, he won't be making any complaints. He was 4th on the track, 3rd in the Pro class. Another young driver starting to make a name for himself, and this is a circuit. It's easy to get caught in someone else's moment, so he must have positioned the car sensibly as well. 2nd place, Benedetto Strignano, young European racer, young Italian, again, like Colin Queen, decided to do the finals solo. Much more physical, but at his age, he should be able to deal with all of that. But out onto the top stair, here they come, Danny Vermaelen and Hampus Eriksson. Job well and truly done. North American champions, World Final champions. almost enough to drown out the national anthem of the United States of America, but the passion below, particularly from the American contingent, is making itself heard now, because there is Colin Queen, third on the podium for Ansa Motorsport, top step, Wayne Taylor Racing, and its two drivers, Danny Vermael and Hampus Eriksson. And Benedetto Strignano on the left-hand side of the podium, second place on his home turf, but the noise is very much from the American fans for Wayne Taylor Racing, waving the flag for the North American Super Trofeo Series. And as always, we get a team representative up there. They too, and quite rightly so, the team should always win a trophy, I feel, in any form of motor racing. They're the ones that do the really hard work, getting the cars ready.
So now please, can you get on the main step of the podium for the picture? Look in front of you with the trophies in your hands.
And more instruction for the drivers. Most of them know how to appear where and when on a podium, but they're guided here, so the photographers can all get their little get their shots in. Because this, after all, is the World Finals. It says it on the backdrop, so it's a lovely backdrop to have. To be on a World Finals podium is very special indeed. But best of all, for Wayne Taylor Racing, for Danny Vermael and Hampus Eriksson, to be on the top step, well, that's the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Some photos for the scrap group, that's for sure. There we go. Fun park at the Champagne out.
Job done still, the Pro-Am Trophy celebrations and podium ceremony to follow, but right now that's the full stop on the season for all these drivers up there. A couple of them will be taking part, well, certainly Colin Queen taking part in the young driver test on Monday morning at Misano, but the racing element of 2025, they're long seasons these days, over and out, and there it is, a 3-point margin in the end. That victory is so important for Hampus Eriksson and Danny Vermael. Will Bamber and Elias de la Tour really keeping them honest, but if it hadn't been for a little mishap halfway around the last lap last night, Eriksson and Vermael would have had an easier job, but they did what they needed to do. And third place overall, Benedetto Strignano, second on the track in the class today, and again, that combined with other points to put him very well placed indeed. Some big names outside even the top 10, shows just how competitive it is, but also, Stuart, it just shows how you had to knit together not one but two races.
Absolutely. I mean, the World Finals, obviously, you know, everybody's thinking it's the last race of the season. You think, yeah, you know what, I'm going to take some more risks, send it a bit more, but yeah, at the end of the day, you know, you've still got to finish and keep the car on the track. So yeah, it's tempting to, you know, risk everything, but here we are. Podiums for the Pro-Am.
Yeah, the podiums for Pro-Am. Third place, car number 298, Lipert Motorsport. That's sorry, it's Todd Kingsford and 289. So as the national anthem of Italy strains and fades away, third place, Vincenzo Sospiri Racing. Stumbled on my words earlier. That's Todd Kingsford and Chris Van Drift, car number 298. Second place, but world final champions in the Pro-Am class. Second in the race today, first in the race yesterday. Igor Orechev and Shota Abkazava. The top step, all smiles for Fred Shandoff on the left, and the beaming face. He was smiling the whole way around the circuit. Andrei Lewandowski. That's car number 3, entered by Autosport Racing, by ASR. But it's second place, combined with their first place yesterday, that the crew on the second step of the podium have put together. They've draped the flag over their shoulders, but they are the World Finals champions in Pro-Am. Igor Orechev and the ever-enthusiastic Shota Abkazava.
Please, closer, always closer. Show your trophies looking in front of you. For the picture, and then please look downstairs. No, look downstairs.
Just when the drivers at the end of the season want to get the champagne flowing, fizzing, firing, but they have to wait, and now they can go for it. Over and out, the 2025 World Finals, but it's the Pro-Am podium. The crew in second place, draped with the flag of Kazakhstan. They are the winners. Shota Abkazava, who might as well have jumped in a swimming pool on the left of your screen. A face for him, Igor Orechev keeping out of the way. But the joy unbounded. The 2025 World Finals for Lamborghini, over and out. This It's the metallic blue car number 12 from Artline, the car that was started by Igor Oritsev, finished in by Shota Abkazawa, and together they have won the title by 5 points from Andrei Lewandowski and Fredrik Schandorf, the drivers who won today, but not such a good result for them yesterday with a few penalties costing them dearly, and they end equal on points with the third crew you saw up on the podium today, Todd Kingsford and his mentor Chris van der Drift. But today, again, it's about combining 2 races, your scores from those, but 3 crews that really scored very, very strongly. Felt sorry for some people who had trouble. We saw Georgi Dimitrov pulling off at the end of about 1 lap. He qualified well, but his teammate Stefan Geran didn't even get to have a race. But he's someone who's shown good form this year, but next year, perhaps, you've got to come back. There are so many things that can be a bit of a slip-up, and just one little element can scupper your chances. But let's take a look back at the last race, the 4th race of the World Finals. This is the 2nd one for Pro and Pro-Am. Here are the highlights. Getting away from pole position, it was Fred Schandorf. He got a very tidy start. The first 4 cars stayed in position. Brendan Leach and Blue and Go car in 2nd place, just getting into 2nd. At the back, though, there was a spin, and then, unfortunately, heavy contact. Car 36 very much coming off the worst for wear. Further up the field, a few more little combinations, but more damage than you expect with a sort of relatively low-speed spin. So it was all about keeping out of trouble. And various corners on the circuit were magnets. Turn 9 was one of them, as it had been last night. But the racing, well, there he is, the view. 9 and 10, you're all jockeying for position, trying to get a good run onto the back straight. There we are, low speed, slow speed, but corrected. That was one without contact. That's the Conrad Geis Jason Hart car. But it was where the moves were coming up front. Car 108 looking for that through the course of the race. That was Nick Persing, always in the battle. But how was it going to shake out? We were looking for the black car with the blue flashes. Hampus Eric started in that one, but Hampus handed over to Danny Vermael, and it was a case of him working his way forward. Exciting racing. Sometimes you find yourself on the outside, but as soon as Danny Vermael got on board, he had a job to do. He had to get his way past Andrei Lewandowski, got the job done, kept on moving forward, extended his lead. Those behind, though, were fighting for the minor positions. Wayne Taylor Racing, they loved it, and with good reason. This is turn 15 into 16, the checkered flag, not just a race win. After yesterday losing out on the last lap, falling to fifth, he and Hampus Eriksson had the points for victory today, and they took the title outright for 2025 at the World Finals. So joy unbounded, a job very well done, and the satisfaction, well, clear for all to see. And such a welcome from their team. Then the podium ceremonies. It's special to win a race. It's even more special to win a title. And then to add the World Final, the job was done for 2025. Danny Vermael, Hampus Eriksson. And that, alas, is it for the World Finals after 4 fantastic days of racing here at Misano on the Adriatic coast of Italy. My name's Bruce Jones, and thank you very much to Stuart Middleton for joining me. Come and join us in 2026.